Alright guys, so I'm just going to do a little breakdown of the matches we had, or the matches I had last night. It was against just one guy. It wasn't really like a division and fully set up thing. So this guy that you're seeing right here, Brett, he's a really nice guy. Him and I were pro belts for a while together. And he tried to compete against me at 155. At that time, I went up to 170, and then vice versa. We went back and forth. I've talked to him at all the events. He's a really nice guy. He's very good at Jiu Jitsu, very friendly. Him and his whole team are very nice guys. I really like them all. But Brett messaged me a few days before this tournament, and I wasn't planning on competing or doing anything. But he just messaged me a few nights before the tournament. He was like, "Hey, did you want to go against each other?" I was like, "Sure, man, absolutely, dude." So we're gonna break down the video a little bit. All right, so it's 3 minutes long. I'm kind of go through a little bit and try to commentary over top of it. If you guys have any questions, just hit me up. I'll answer. So right now, what I'm looking for is you guys. I'm gonna kind of pause a little bit and talk each one. So on the feet, the big thing that I preach on the feet: head control, hand control. So make a connection with your head, dominate the hands. If I dominate your head positioning and I dominate the hand positioning, I can go for my takedowns. If I don't dominate both of them, then you can go for one on me. If I have one and you have one, we're pretty much neutral. So that's the first thing. Is I'm just trying to make a connection. No-gi, I'm pretty quick to going forward. I'm making a single college. I start playing this 2-on-1 grip. I'm trying to get my head under his chin. He's doing very well at just keeping my head where it's at. He dominates both my wrists. I make a little wrist switch over to 2-on-1 on this opposite side now. Right now we're just kind of feeling each other out. We're just kind of playing the game. I'm trying to get I'm trying to get my head under his chin. He's not allowing it. He's very smart of the head positioning. He's actually winning the head positioning right there. So right there, actually, what happened was he's winning the head positioning right now. He's winning the hand battle. I'm actually losing this right now. So here's where, if you guys have if you guys have trained me for a while, I really like this overhook Uchimata setup. So he starts closing in the gap. I go for a little Uchimata setup, which makes him either A, get thrown, or B, he lowers his weight, brings his head down, and that's what opens up that front guillotine, that front headlock. He sat and pulled guard to get out of it. I talked to him afterwards. He said he's got a weak neck. His neck kind of hurts a little bit. So anytime somebody wraps his neck, he sits. It's actually a very smart move because I was going to try to attack off of it. But now I know he likes to play leg locks. So I'm just kind of, just controlling the feet, pinching the knees. The big thing is keeping your knees pinched to prevent all this stuff here. I'm keeping my weight down. My whole goal with training over the past couple years has just been like getting chest to chest with you is pressure. I'm just trying to pin your shoulders to the ground. And I don't care what you have down here, I'll address that later. This is pretty much where I've been trying to get at. I get really good control. Brett's very good at using that butterfly hook. He was able to elevate my weight and get me off of him. I should have taken my left hand and addressed this knee, so that way I could free up that butterfly hook. But you can see he's trying to go underneath of me. He was able to lift me with that hook and go underneath. A very, very smooth transition where he's attacking the feet. He starts attacking the leg. I just kind of point my knee in a direction where he can't attack it. We disengage, I go back to El Hivo. From here, my hip is too far tilted. He steps back in another beautiful leg lock entry. And he's attacking the opposite leg. And then here's where his mistake was, is he didn't keep that honey hole lock. You can see his left foot is based on my leg here. He needs, what I would have done is I would have kept that left leg in, and that right leg that was reaping the leg, keep that as a triangle, and that little kind of, I don't know if it's called like inside sikaku. I don't know all the Japanese terms. I call it the honey hole. But because he kept that foot there, you see me dragging that foot. Actually, we go big screen here. That's all right. You see me drag that foot across, which allows me to attack my own heel hook. So I'll just go back and replay that just a little bit so you can guys see it. It's nice setups to those leg locks. But see, I drag it across, and now I have an attack of my own. What I should have done is I should have, instead of reaching with my wrists, like here, I should have reached with my opposite wrist and then rear naked choke went. That's what I should have gone with it. So that way I could have more torque, because I started feeling that like we were at an awkward angle. I didn't quite have everything fully locked in, but I think if I would have been able to have a little bit more torque, I think I could have gotten a little bit more out of that. But I was threatening this, but really my mindset was just kind of earn some respect out of the leg locks with Brett. Because I know he likes them, and a lot of people think that I don't train them. It's not that I don't train them. I do them, just not as often. I'm not a fan of them too much. But I just wanted to earn some respect in the game, just to let him know, like, hey, like I can play. I know a little bit. I'm not that much of a noob, right? So now we're playing. So yep, this whole setup here is just a basic X-Pass setup, and I'm just setting it up from a low level where it's a little in disguise. People don't really acknowledge it. Don't really see it. So I come up. We're laughing here. He's laughing at me. telling me he's like you don't do leg locks. He's a funny guy. But so I reach my right hand up, so I've already got the collar grip. My left hand just needs to touch his knee. I'm just hand fighting a little bit. I don't want him to know that the X pass is coming. Boom, I hit it. And then he goes, I should have kept going around to this side to stay on his back. Instead I stayed in the angle that we're at. He goes belly down, smart transition. I keep his foot to kind of slow him down a little bit and to mitigate that double leg. And now here is like, this is where, man, once this DVD comes out, you guys got to get it. This is that Kimura trap setup. It's like that Kimura system. So he goes here, he starts hitting this double. And that's why I cut the angle. I was like, I'm going to accept the double. but I'm going to grab this Kimura. And you guys know I really like this Kimura grip. So I use the Kimura grip to off balance him and put him on his back. And he tries to sit up, but he runs into the trap itself. And he's having a hard time trying to sit up. He makes a mistake by bridging straight back. You should never bridge straight back out of it. I think I have on Simplicity. I do actually. I have on Simplicity Jiu Jitsu how to escape that TV position, that kind of sitting down position, the proper way. But most people, when they can't turn into, they bridge back when they don't really know the system very well, and it resulted in Brett getting his back taken. This is why you always address the grip first before you address the actual position, and that's why this led into me snaking his back. So notice when I take the back here, I also put I don't just put my hook in, I put my entire foot across his body. I do that so I can't lose that hook. I go all the way across the body. I do that just to kind of, I want to create, if you think about it, I want to create like a circle around his hips. That's my goal. If my foot is in between his legs, the circle's open and there's a little opportunity for him to scrape his hips. So I try to put my foot to my knee. And you see I kind of make this little wedge here. There's like this little base. My foot's on the mat and it kind of holds his hips up in the air. My foot's touching my knee, and then my knee is going to my foot and my foot's based on the ground. So there's a whole circle going from my foot up. It's like this little circle right here going around. I'm always trying to wrap the hips up. Whereas if I were to put my foot in between his legs, he'll actually be able to swim his hips out a little bit. So now the hand fight, I want you guys to notice the hand fight a little bit. When I'm grabbing the hand, I'm not holding the wrist. I'm always holding the pinky. I'm always holding like right on the pinky meat, everything here, and I'm ratcheting my wrist down. You have a lot more leverage holding someone's hand, holding there than you do here. Here people can break. Here it's really difficult, man. It's really difficult. And that's been something I've been playing with that for years, and that kind of grip. Because there's like wrist locks off of it, but then I really started playing it when John Danaher and Gordon Ryan actually came by our academy and taught a seminar. When they came by, now I wasn't at the seminar, but all the students that were there were telling me all about that grip, and I was like, I actually do that grip, but I didn't I did it, but I didn't know I did it really. Since they acknowledged it, I just right away the belief built within that technique. I was like, well, if they're telling you to do it, they're pretty knowledgeable. I'm just gonna keep doing it every single time. So now it just came to the hand fights are always grabbing somebody's hand instead of grabbing somebody's wrist. The wrist, their hand can move. Their hand, their whole arms immobilized. But sorry, I don't know English. So we're gonna keep playing a little bit more. I put both my hooks in at this point, and now you can see at this point, I think I let go of my seat. I put my hooks in. Yeah, so I don't have any underhooks. I'm kind of breaking the rule of the back. On the back, you should always maintain a bottom hook. Right now, there is no bottom hook because he's neutral. And then you should always maintain an underhook. I actually don't have any underhooks, so my hands are kind of shadowing the shoulders a little bit. Sometimes I'll kind of base my shoulders, just a little pit stop. I'm not going to sit there long. But I start scraping this left hand as he starts going. And then once he falls, I body triangle. Now this is what makes the body triangle so effective, outside of it compressing the stomach and the foot here hooking the thigh. The foot hooking the thigh makes it hard for Brett to turn into me to do the smart escape, which is the most common escape, right? So you can see Brett's addressing the hand. He's doing the proper escape for the back. He wants to pass this hand over my head. And then there's no threat, right? I have to try to attack his arm. So, but this body triangle makes it very impossible, very, very difficult for him to turn towards me. So what he has to be doing is he has to be addressing this hook. That's the main thing. He's got to try to widen his hips out to elongate his hips and elongate my closed wedge around his body. And that's the great thing about this is why I like the body triangle is when I have the body triangle. And notice how I always try to lock high side. I don't like locking low side because there's actually some foot locks there. But I lock high side. The reason why I like it is I can actually let go of my seatbelt now. So he does the right thing. You'll see. I think he's hand fighting, and here you can see me. If you look, so that's my hand right there. I'm wedging in again at the hand, right? It's I'm not peeling the wrist. Everything's at the hand. You can break grips. He's defending, he's holding my hand with the grip, and then I'm wedging his palm apart. It's where you can break. You can hand fight very, very well like that. So in here, he's just waiting for the opportunity. Waiting for the opportunity. He makes the right move. That's the proper move. He made the right move. He brought the arm over. Right. He's trying to turn into me, but it's tough, right? It's tough. And the body lock is what's preventing him from doing all that stuff. At this point, you can't quite see the rest of it, but at this point I'm digging that rear choke in. My other hand, my right hand is staying on his hand the whole time. I'm pinning his hand down so he's only fighting with one hand. And I'm blading my thumb underneath. When you tack the rear choke, and I know I have this in the Simplicity Jiu Jitsu in the Kimura system preview. I know I have this where I'm covering how to get under the chin. And when you get under the chin, the trick isn't like here. It's like on the side, like starting underneath this jawline over here. I'm entering the side, and then I'm walking by. And he actually had his hand in protecting his left hand. It's kind of blurry, but his left hand here, he had this in protecting. But that grip is so powerful that it's like, I don't, like, my thought is like, even though your hand's there, like, it's okay. Like, I'm going to keep walking my hand across. I'll either crush your hand or you'll have to pull it out, and then I'll get my choke. So it's one of the two. So, and he can't use his other hand. So here it's like walking through. You can see his fingers are kind of caught here. My hand's kind of up on his shoulder. My chin is kind of, I like to put my chin on top of my hand to make it a little bit harder. I don't think I was able to get that till later on because there was a lot of traffic going on. You can see my right arm is feeding through and is still holding his hand. I keep that hand under control the whole time. So here I got a little deeper. I'm like, here I didn't really have the choke yet, but I'm about to have choke in a couple seconds, but it's just like, now I know, right now it's probably hurting his fingers, or it's like crushing his fingers a little bit. He pulls his fingers out and then it becomes like, I started hearing him like gurgle a little bit, and I was like, okay, this is tight. But I didn't have the leverage properly. So you'll see what I make this transition in a second here. I go by body triangles. This body triangles the shit there. See, you can see my fingers right here. I'm trying to get this one arm choke. I'm a big fan of the one arm chokes. I do that every time I'm on the back. That's pretty much what I always try to look for. But I transitioned to a modified one arm choke, which is, I think, one of the tightest rear naked choke grips in jiu-jitsu. So I'm really tight here, but it's all windpipe. Right? And he's fighting a little bit. He's fighting a little bit. Right here, I put the hand behind my head. And then I look back as I squeeze, and that's tight. Like, that is the tightest. Like, when I demonstrate that in class, guys are like, holy shit, that's terrible. You can put so much pressure with that choke there. It's extremely tight. Passing that hand behind your head. But it's got to be incremental. It can't just be like a full straight, like, wrap and go. Like, you've got to walk your fingers up. You've got to be threatening the windpipe choke, and then you've got to get all the way in. So there is that tap. Now, I'm gonna do another video. We're gonna talk about the gi video, so be sure to look at that one. I'm gonna put them both up on Simplicity, and I'm actually gonna put them on a little free section for everybody. But I'm putting them on Simplicity where you guys can see it.